Trump indicted in case of alleged mishandling of government secrets. Former President Donald Trump has been indicted on federal charges for storing dozens of classified documents at his Florida resort and refusing to return them to the FBI and the National Archives. He faces 7 counts, including willful retention of information related to national defense, at least 1 false statements charge, and at least 1 charge related to obstruction, according to a source with knowledge of the charges. Charging documents from a federal grand jury in Miami have not been made public. I never thought it possible that such a thing could happen to a former president of the United States who received far more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country and is currently leading, by far, all candidates, both Democrat and Republican, in polls of the 2024 presidential election. "I am an innocent man," Trump said in a post on his Truth Social platform. Trump said in a statement that he has been summoned to appear in federal court in Miami on Tuesday. Reactions to the indictment of Donald Trump. Here are reactions after former President Donald Trump said he has been indicted by the U.S. Department of Justice, apparently for mishandling sensitive government documents. U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Today is indeed a dark day for the United States of America. House Republicans will hold this brazen weaponization of power accountable. The probe has intensified in recent days, and Trump's lawyers met with Justice Department officials in Washington, D.C. earlier this week to try to stave off the charges. A spokesman for DOJ special counsel Jack Smith said they had no comment at this time. Smith, a veteran public corruption and war crimes prosecutor, is also leading the probe into key aspects of the Jan. 6, 2021 effort to overturn the results of a presidential election. The legal peril in Florida follows the indictment on 34 counts of falsifying business records earlier this year by a grand jury in Manhattan working closely with District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Trump has pleaded not guilty in that bookkeeping case centered on hush money payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in the waning weeks of the 2016 race for the White House. Trump has denied having had an affair with Daniels, whose legal name is Stephanie Clifford, although he has admitted reimbursing Cohen for money paid to her. A prosecutor in Fulton County, GA, is leading a 3rd investigation into Trump's alleged efforts to pressure state election officials there. The former president has vowed to continue with his campaign to return to the White House in 2024, despite the criminal indictments. Trump reaped millions of dollars in contributions after charges against him were unveiled in New York this year. He continues to lead a small field of candidates for the Republican nomination. The dispute over records at his resort at Mar-a-Lago in Florida exploded into public view in August 2022 when FBI agents executed a search warrant at the property while Trump was out of town. The former president tweeted about the search, which set off a weeks-long legal tug-of-war in Florida and Washington, D.C. Attorney General Merrick Garland later told reporters he personally approved the search. And a federal magistrate judge signed off on the search warrant after reading a sworn statement from the FBI. Probable cause exists to believe that evidence, contraband, fruits of crime, or other items illegally possessed were being improperly stored in various places at Mar-a-Lago, the affidavit stated. Authorities recovered highly classified materials, some so sensitive that the government officials involved in the search lacked the security clearance to review them. That discovery followed a letter from Trump's lawyer attesting that they had conducted a diligent search for government secrets at the site and had found no more of them. This year, in yet another unusual twist, a judge in D.C. found cause to believe Trump may have used his attorney to break the law in connection with the Mar-a-Lago papers. As a result, Judge Beryl Howell turned back Trump's attorney-client privilege claims and allowed the Justice Department to proceed. That attorney, Evan Corcoran, has been spotted at the federal courthouse in recent weeks, apparently making an appearance before a grand jury behind closed doors. Trump's own public statements could be used against him when the case makes its way to court as evidence of his state of mind. Remember this. This is the Presidential Records Act. "I have the right to take stuff," Trump told Fox News host Sean Hannity in March 2023, adding, "I have the right to take stuff. I have the right to take stuff, but they have the right to look at stuff, but they have the right to talk, and they have the right to talk." Democrat Congressman Dan Goldman. This country was founded on the principle that we are a government of laws, not people, and that no person, not even a former president, is above the law. We are blessed with a legal system that is designed to vindicate the robust rights of all defendants, and just like any other criminal defendant, Donald Trump has long-standing constitutional rights to a trial by jury, to confront his accusers, and to legal counsel. Tesla CEO Elon Musk. There does seem to be far higher interest in pursuing Trump compared to other people in politics. Very important that the justice system rebut what appears to be differential enforcement, or they will lose public trust. Asa Hutchinson, candidate for Republican nomination. Donald Trump's actions, from his willful disregard for the Constitution to his disrespect for the rule of law, should not define our nation or the Republican Party. This is a sad day for our country. Vivek Ramaswamy, candidate for Republican nomination. It would be much easier for me to win this election if Trump weren't in the race. But I stand for principles over politics. I commit to pardon Trump promptly on January 2020, 2025, and to restore the rule of law in our country. House Speaker McCarthy says Trump indictment is dark day for us. Yes. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, the chamber's top Republican, said on Thursday that the indictment of Donald Trump was a dark day for the United States and that he stood with the former president. House Republicans will hold this brazen weaponization of power accountable, he wrote on Twitter. The latest news in the investigation of Donald Trump's handling of classified documents. Former President Donald Trump has been indicted by a federal grand jury in connection with his mishandling of more than 100 classified documents. Trump, who first revealed the news earlier Thursday in a post on his Truth Social platform, faces 7 counts, according to his lawyer and another source. The charges include false statements, conspiracy to obstruct, and a charge related to the Espionage Act, sources said. A federal grand jury in Florida has been meeting in special counsel Jack Smith's investigation of Trump's handling of classified documents, according to sources familiar with the investigation. The Florida grand jury is separate from a panel that was convened in Washington, D.C. The investigation began last year when the National Archives alerted the FBI that government documents Trump had returned after having been out of office for about a year included 184 that were marked classified. Trump has denied any wrongdoing. Hawley says he doesn't know why other Senate Republicans are quiet tonight. In an appearance on Fox News Tonight, Josh Hawley RMO was asked by host Laura Ingraham why members of Senate Republican leadership have not spoken out in support of Trump tonight. Asked if he thought they would make public statements, Hawley said, "I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else, Laura, and I've given up predicting what any other senator might do. But I can just say for myself that I think this is a critical moment in our history as a nation, and this is the time to stand up and say we're going to fight for the rule of law." The Fox host was more direct in her critique, saying you cannot, as an office holder in the Republican Party, sit by even if you can't stand Trump for policy reasons, personal or whatever it is. She also called out the Senate Minority Leader by name, saying, "Mitch McConnell, this is your moment, my friend." Trump faces same charge under Espionage Act as accused Pentagon leaker Jack Teixeira. One of the charges against Trump is the same one facing accused Pentagon leaker Jack Teixeira under the Espionage Act. Trump lawyer Jim Trusty said on Khan that the summons included at least one charge related to 18 U.S.C. 793, a section of the Espionage Act that penalizes unlawfully retaining national defense information. NBC News later confirmed that charge. Teixeira, a 21-year-old former member of the Massachusetts Air National Guard, is accused of violating the Espionage Act by photographing classified documents, including materials he improperly removed from the base where he worked. He is in jail awaiting trial. Violations of this section of the statute are punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment. What comes next in Trump's indictment? One big question is whether the Justice Department will file a motion to have a federal judge unseal the indictment before Trump's scheduled appearance Tuesday afternoon. Given the information vacuum at the moment, the Justice Department may decide to ask for it to be unsealed right away. If Trump complies with his summons, one of his attorneys, Jim Trusty, said on Khan that Trump will show up at the courthouse Tuesday. He will most likely face a federal judge for a formal arraignment when he'll be entitled to hear the charges. He will then enter a plea. Given the nature of the charges, Trump is likely to be released with a court date to return. While such hearings are typically routine and short, the Justice Department could weigh in on Trump's making public statements about the case. In the Manhattan case, there was much speculation about whether the judge would impose a gag order, a step he ultimately didn't take. But he did issue a protective order that prohibits Trump from blasting out on social media certain evidence gathered by prosecutors. False statements charge. What did Trump say and when? Trustee appearing on Can also indicated the former president faces a charge related to false statements. That's noteworthy because it means authorities plan to accuse Trump of lying to investigators, which raises the following questions. What's the exchange? With whom? And when did it happen? Based on public reporting, Trump stopped by and greeted members of the Justice Department and federal agents when they came to his home to retrieve documents in June 2022, before the search warrant was executed. Whether he say anything at the time that prosecutors found misleading remains to be seen. His aides and lawyers have used Trump's greeting as an example of his trying to work cooperatively with investigators. Trump may face conspiracy charge, but others involved are unclear. Trustee also suggested on Ken that Trump faces at least one conspiracy-related charge. That's significant because prosecutors need to show an agreement between two or more people to prove a conspiracy. That raises the question of whether the special counsel's office is going to indict someone else in addition to Trump, or whether there will be an unindicted co-conspirator. Trustee did not name precisely who he believed, other than his client, would face charges.